will be a fuel for action.
Well, with us now is Hasan Piker, a political commentator who broadcasts daily to his audiences on Twitch, an online streaming platform. He joins us now from his home in West Hollywood. Hasan, thanks for joining us. Would you agree there seems to be real momentum now to get change?
There's always been real momentum to try to enact some kind of change with regards to gun violence in this country, but unfortunately, I'm a little bit more pessimistic than you guys over there, considering that the gun manufacturers are unfortunately too powerful of an industry, and the gun lobby is incredibly powerful with their lobbying efforts. So we'll see. I'm not holding my breath, though.
Yeah, we've heard from Mitch McConnell, who seems to have changed his tune a little bit in terms of the Republicans. Do you think there is an appetite among Republicans now for more gun control?
I wouldn't say more gun control, or at least adequate common sense gun safety measures, but instead they'll probably misdirect and focus on I don't know, maybe offering minor concessions for things that many other comparable OECD nations have been taking for granted, like mental evaluations and you know, any kind of control that allows you to basically speak for your character and allows you to demonstrate competence with a weapon is impossible to push for here in this country.
And Hasan, you broadcast to hundreds of thousands of people every day. You interact with your fans and your audience. What have they been saying on this issue?
I mean, a lot of people on the ground, like real people, are, of course, traumatized by the senseless violence that they see almost on a daily basis here. But what the people want in America and what the politicians are going to end up doing are two very different things. For the past, I would say, decade, if not longer, there has been almost a complete consensus on expanding background checks in this country to universal background checks and closing up certain loopholes like the gun show loophole or private sales. That polls around 90%. I think by latest measures is around like 85%, if I'm not mistaken. And yet this is not even this is a non-starter by the Republican Party. They don't even consider it to be a conversation. 75% of the NRA members actually want this kind of adequate legislation, and yet it's not something that the Republican Party is interested in pushing for. And I believe that is a obviously multifaceted problem. Part of it is because of our gun culture, and part of it is because the gun lobby uses that as a very effective tool to mobilize single-issue voters. They always go out to the polls and they always vote on behalf of, you know, loosening up gun restrictions.
You mentioned the NRA a few times. What kind of role do they play, and is their influence as powerful as it has been over the past few decades?
Well, I thought that they were supposed to go bankrupt because they tried to get into the media business, which is treacherous. But it does seem to be still incredibly powerful. One, because they're backed by a very powerful small arms manufacturing industry, but also very powerful because, like I mentioned already, there are a lot of Americans who associate their commodity consumption with their identity. They basically, it sounds weird to explain, but they basically feel like the gun is very much a part of their identity. I mean, you've seen politicians campaign on it. Gods, guns, and babies was a campaign slogan that only recently was mentioned in the midterms and in the primaries. So this is very much like a fundamental American value, and the right wing and also the gun manufacturers have been able to effectively weaponize this identity as a political identity and can organize around it. So it's a little bit more complicated than just simply saying the NRA is individually powerful. I think the NRA drives its power from being able to effectively weaponize that base of pre-existing support for guns.
Yeah, it's a partisan
and being able
issue.
To purchase guns.
Yeah, it's obviously a very complicated issue too. Hasan Piker, that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Let's round up some of the day's other news now. And the world